Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec Cuenca and I'm your host. And before anything else, welcome back to the show. If this is your first time, then I'm so happy that you're here. If you like this episode, go ahead and check out the other amazing episodes that we have here on Spotify. And if this is your nth time listening to the podcast, if you're an avid listener of the podcast, then welcome back. I'm so excited to see you guys here. That just means that you are invested in personal development. And I'm so happy that I have a lot of people joining me here to just learn more about things. And for today's episode, we are going to talk about something that I am really interested in because as some of you may know, I've lived my long years in a relationship, and now I'm new to dating. And so there are a lot of adjustments. There are a lot of kind of redefining my certain beliefs, my perception about things, on how to meet people, how to mingle with people. And I'm just so happy that I actually told my guest earlier that this is just basically my excuse to learn more from you, because our guest for today is none other than one of the top dating coaches here in the Philippines and as well as in the United States. She is an ABS-CBN digital host. She is a certified matchmaker by the Matchmaking Institute in New York City. And she is also leading Singles Event Manila that teaches science-based dating or science-based dating approaches. And I'm just so happy because she's also going to be she's also going to be one of the speakers in our first ever live event on May 21st at PICC Pasay. Let's all welcome to the show, Coach V. Hi, Coach V. Thank you for accepting the invite. Welcome to the show.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for having me here at Small Talk.
Yeah, again, I'm just using Small Talk as an excuse to just have conversations with amazing people, and I'm so glad that you're here. So let's dive right into it, because I think the word dating coach, it's still kind of new to the ears of people around us or in our age. Or in the digital age, like dating coaches, they're still not as mainstream as they should be. So what does a dating coach really do?
All right. So you are definitely right, Alec. When it comes to this term dating coach, we don't usually encounter it because usually we meet people who are life coaches, we have fitness coaches. But by the end of the day, I feel like dating is such an important say facet in our life, because that actually how good you are in dating predicts like your romantic life and your love life and your family life. And so I also realized that we don't have that here in the Philippines. I was actually working as a matchmaker in the US, and I'm also serving as a dating coach. But I've realized that in the Philippines, dating coach is such a, like a new thing, like what you said. So I decided to actually travel back to the Philippines and decide that I will actually serve my country and the singles of the Philippines. And so basically, dating coach is someone who helps you become smarter and stronger when it comes to mate choice or a partner choice, and we're talking about romantically. And but for us, I believe that when it comes to choosing a romantic partner, we have to use not only our hearts but also our brain. And when we do that, we tend to be more rational and we tend to create smarter choices when it comes to our future spouses.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. But I love the concept about not just using your heart, but also using your brain, which is why you are not just a dating coach, but you're also a science-based dating coach, right? So how important, I have two questions at the top of my mind. First is how important is dating when you're trying to or grow, trying to become a better version of yourself? How important is dating, and how do you do that science based or like research based?
Okay. All right. If you don't mind, Alec, I'll start with your second question. Like, how important is using science or applying it in dating? So I have observed in my personal life and the people around me that we tend to study and spend so much hours to be good in our profession. Like
Mhm.
if you're an engineer, you put so much work into reading and training. If
Yeah.
you are like a lawyer and a doctor, like the hours that you put in to be so good in your professional life is tremendous. It's like more than 10,000 hours. But by the end of the day, no matter what your position is when it comes to like your career and life in general, like a strong predictor of how happy you're going to be when you're old or when you're in your deathbed is not really like the money or the profession that you have, but actually the relationships that you have. And so, if we are applying so many hours being good in our career, how come we are not putting in the work, putting in the hours when it comes to the most, one of the most important things in our life, that is our relationships? And of course, romantic relationship is a big factor of that. And so that actually interests me. I just thought when I was single, I want to be better at things that really matters in life, and that includes dating. So when I was studying sociology during my master's in LaSalle, I thought, like, like a lot of sociologists and social scientists do not really focus on dating, and I found that as a gap. And so even if dating was not a common topic when it comes to research papers, I was talking and begging with to my professors, like, can you allow me to do like a research study on love and dating? Because I feel like you and I will be so much in a better position love wise if we put in the hours and study actually the basic principles that makes people fall in love.
That's pretty amazing. And I think you really nailed it. When it comes to mastering something or developing something, we need to put in the hours. But when it comes to dating, we think that we already know what we need to know, right? Like we already know what we need to know, so we'll just go in there, dive into that relationship, or go into dating, meet people like we already know about it. But the fact is, there are still like relatively low number of researches or information available so that we can make better decisions, because that's how we can make better decisions if we become more aware on how this is all going on. What are some methods and principles that can help us do that? And you mentioned that as well. Like there are certain principles when it comes to dating that you think is very important. So can you share with us? I know that you've done a lot of research about this, that you did your studies, your masters. Can you share some basic principles that you feel that is very important when someone wants to go dating?
Yeah. So during my like research when it comes to love and dating, there's so many things that you'll be reading from different authors, and I believe that there's no other more reliable source when it comes to relationship and love and dating, but actually the people who really studied human relations or social connections. Who are these people? These are the social scientists. You have the psychologists, the sociologists, and I feel like, the research that they've been putting out, sayang if we don't, I mean, it's a waste of information if we don't get to read it and put it in our, apply it in our lives, right? So one of my, before I share that, one of the principle that we generally follow when it comes to dating, like one of my call to action would be, before you go into dating, it would be so good that we learn like facts and information and tendencies of our hearts, of our brain, of our body from social scientists. So I urge everyone, if you want to go to Google and search for tips, how to move on, how to heal my heart, how to be better in dating, always get the ones that are coming from social scientists, so you can do like how to move on based on science.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that will put you in so much, this advantage. It will put you in a more advantaged position than just reading commentaries or
Yeah.
opinions from people who are like us. Because I believe like social scientists are giving us information that was from thousands of people, even if they're from United States, Europe. I feel like by the end of the day, we are the same human beings, and our brain and our hearts functions the same way, and we often weigh the same things when it comes to choosing a romantic partner. So going to that tip, like usually we that's our first message, like you make the most out of like the social, I mean the science based
Science
stuff
based.
that's
Yeah.
put out in the internet. Second would be when you actually go on dating, or before you start going on dating, the number one factor that strongly predicts and influences the result of your dating life is your mindset.
Wow. Okay.
So if you actually go on dating with an incorrect mindset, or a mindset that is not very beneficial for you or the person that you're going to date, the likelihood of you finding someone will be very slim. You might feel like, oh, I'm so ready to date. I'm a catch. I have money. I look good. I'm a very confident person. But you would see the results will tell once you go on your like dating arena, or once you go to date people, you would see like, how come I'm not, meeting or finding or attracting the people that I like? So it all the very basic stuff to look at is really your mindset. What is your mindset when you're going on dating? Are you thinking about, like, are you going on dating thinking about say, I want to find someone who will benefit me? Or are you going on dating thinking that, you know what, whether I try so hard or not, I know that I'm a catch because I worked so hard on myself. So you don't really worry about whether they will like you. You're the only thing that is in your mind when you're dating is, do I like this person? Is this the person I want to be long term? I want to be with long term. So you have those kinds of questions. The questions shifts when you are in the right mindset.
I love that. I love that so much that like there's a shift in power. You know, you're not letting the dating scene dictate how you feel because of the mindset that you have. Now, if you have a proper mindset going into dating, you become more comfortable with yourself. You're not worrying, you're not seeing dating as something stressful, but actually something exciting. Now you'll be able to actually create meaningful connections. And I've realized that as well. I had a really bad mindset when I tried meeting new people at the beginning, and then I realized that the people that I meet, they also have like this kind of mindset. I'm a huge fan of like the law of attraction, and I believe like attracts like. And so when I go out with a bad mindset, I also meet people with a bad mindset. And so like the stress just keeps on toppling up. But then now that I'm more of, I kind of matured, I kind of learned from the mistakes that I did. Now I have a greater mindset, and the experience of dating now becomes rich. It's and here's another question that I have, because when people go on dates, it's kind of like a question mark, like, why are you and that you mentioned this earlier, like, what is the dating for? Are you dating to have fun, and are you dating to marry? And here's the big question here, and especially here in the Philippines, medyo taboo pa yung topic, pero are there really different intentions in dating, and are there bad intentions, and are there good intentions, or yeah, what can you say about that?
I mean, this is such a question. This is a question that we often receive from singles that we are serving through Singles Events Manila, and I feel like these are legit concerns, right? Like, what is your goal when you date? Should you date for fun? Should you date with a goal? Should you date to marry? Generally, we do tell them that by the end of the day, before you date, you have to decide, like, what do you want coming out of that date. But when we look at the studies, there's this really nice study that we often share to our clients, wherein the psychologists actually invited daters. So what they did was they put on the daters in a separate room, and they actually recorded the conversations. Okay, so they had a recording, and then after the date, what the psychologist did is they listened to the audio recording. But here's the catch: they were listening to the audio recording without the words. They were just listening to pitch and tonality of the conversations. And with 98% accuracy, they were able to predict who among the daters are going to go on a second date and who among the daters are never going to see each other again. So how did they do that? So this is actually this study was made from MIT. And so when we actually refer to that study, the reason why the psychologists were able to predict with 98% accuracy who are going to go on a date again is because of the tonality and pitch. That means that the more daters laugh together, the more they're likely to see each other again. The more serious or like boring or monotone their conversation were, they're never going to see each other again. So what is that story telling us? And usually when we teach our clients when it comes to science-based dating, we get insights from these studies, from these stories. And so we tell them, what is your goal on a first date? If you want to see that person again, that person in front of you, make sure that you actually share banter or assess if you guys are able to have fun and laugh together. Because by the end of the day, regardless of the other more important things, first date is a strong indicator, and it's the place where you assess, will I be happy? Will this person able to make me laugh? Am I able to make this person laugh? So that's where you gauge your vibe, your humor level. And so if you ask me what's the goal on a first date, very simple. That is to assess if you're able to have fun.
That is completely mind-blowing. I mean, you explain it in such a simple way, but I think that the dynamics that is going on in those kinds of situation and the examples that you gave, they are really happening in real life. Kanina habang while you were sharing it, I kind of remembered like the first dates that I went on, and it's completely true. Like the first dates where I laughed a lot. Right? Yeah, I really had a great time. Those are the dates that got a second date. And there were dates that it was, I don't want to say that it's bad, but it was just plain. It was monotone. Like how we talked, like it was question and answer, palitan, like no banter, no humor. And I think here is where the saying goes. I don't have a direct quote for it, but like humor is very important in parang talo ng nakakatawa yung pogi, parang something like that. Kasi when you can make someone feel safe and they can have fun with you and you're laughing and you're enjoying the conversation, you're enjoying your time, it leaves a mark on our brain, right? It leaves a mark on our brain, and that's what we will remember. Not how they look, but more on how much we had fun there.
Yes. Sabi nga nila, it's how you made them feel, right? And I love the word that you use, if you feel safe. That 4-letter word brings a lot of value because it's difficult. I mean, you are unable to laugh, to joke around, to banter when first and foremost, you don't feel safe, you don't trust the person that you are with. So trust also is a highly valued trait when it comes to dating, because by the end of the day, the brain actually assess whether you realize it or not. In the first few seconds, the brain is assessing, is this person trustworthy? Is this person, do I feel safe being around this person? And when your subconscious actually decides for that, the rest follows. If the answer is yes, then you tend to be more relaxed. You tend to be you. You tend to show your real personality without, holding back. But Alec, we're only talking about the first date, right? There's so much that has to go on the second date, third date, and so on, like the values, the lifestyle, all these things. But really, since we are talking about first date, like, please do not overthink it. Just assess are you able to make the person laugh? Is that person able to make you laugh? Because by the end of the day, you don't want to end up with someone you're gonna be grumpy and sad all your life.
Yeah. And here is where we need to like put the line. Cause of course it's a great sign. It's a great indicator that you can go on a second date with this person if you had fun, if you laughed a lot. And I just really want to insert this because I was listening to a podcast and they would say that dopamine is like this happy hormone. Well, we all know that it's a happy hormone, but it's actually a motivation kind of hormone. And that's what we get when we go on dates. It's not really the oxytocin agad na yung love, yung warmth, right? It's the initial dopamine that you would want to, okay, I'm motivated to like keep this going forward. Try again on another date. So when you're laughing, there's an increase in dopamine and then you'd love to be apart. Your brain now automatically registers, oh, I want to have a second date with you. So we have that, right? Here's the line that we need to draw. Kasi for some people, when the first date is really, really good, now they start to overthink it. Now they start to look at this person as a potential for someone. How can someone manage their expectations when it comes to having a good time with this person? Kasi one date is not a good enough sample. How do you manage your expectations?
Yes. And usually on a first date, that's why us matchmakers, when we actually recommend someone and we match people, we actually tell them, go on at least 3 dates with them before you decide. Because by the end of the day, the first date, although it's going to be a good indicator of your energy, of your vibe, or can you laugh or not, like the first date, usually the person is not their real 100% truthful self, because by the way, and we can't blame them, because even us, we actually encourage people, when you go on a first date, please show up in your your best version. Why? Because by the end of the day, that person actually maybe have a very busy schedule. They wanted to meet you, like they wanted to spend time with you. So it's like the basic thing that we can do, at least like make ourselves look pleasant, and of course try at least that both of you will have a pleasant experience together. But I understand when you ask about what happens after the first date. If you meet someone great and they're able to make you laugh and you guys have so much fun together, the way that we usually recommend when you're going on a second and third date is you don't really focus on that person a lot, because first you just met them one time. Second is, if you put so much thought and focus on that person, you might feel overwhelmed. And the number one thing that we're trying to not portray is that smell of desperation, which scientists have actually shown can be smelled from like thousands of like steps away. Sorry, not thousands, but like a less than 100 steps away. So that is really, really interesting when you think about, it's not just the words that you say, but your body language, the way you fix yourself, the way that you present yourself. It could give off that vibe, whether you are so desperate to be with them. And generally, anything that you chase runs away.
That is so perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
The way that we try to balance this, because of course, as you've mentioned, dopamine, when that's why dating someone who you really like is so addictive. It's so like, oh, I'm so excited to see that person again.
Yeah.
Because your brain is the reward system of your brain is like giving you all these feel good feelings, and you want to feel it again, so you want to go out with that person again. But the way that we balance this is encouraging you that if you're meeting this person, if you are dating, you're not in a relationship with someone, you're not dating exclusively, please still open your option. Meet another friend, meet another, someone who could be a friend or a potential partner. So you don't put so much pressure on that person that you just met. So
Yeah.
this is you becoming more rational when it comes to choosing your mate, because you can't choose if you only have one option.
Mm.
So I know that Philippines also is a very conservative country, but I feel like, we only have one lifetime, and we cannot risk spending that with the wrong person, because it will affect your health, your even your finances, how happy you're going to be in the long term. So if you're dating, I feel like this is the best time. Meet as many people as you can, so you don't put too much pressure on the person that you're meeting, and at the same time you are more relaxed and open, like, hey, I've got options. And by the way to get your options is to work on yourself, so that
Mhm.
you get to have more options and you get to be more relaxed when dating. Not yung parang, oh my god, this is so great, like kailangan ko na kumapit sa kanya, baka mawala
Yeah.
pa. I
Mm.
mean, so by the end of the day, it's still you, and the way to get the person or date the person that you want to be is, leveling at their vibe. If you want to meet someone who's doing well financially, doing well in life, we gotta, pressure ourselves, not the dates that we have, to kind of, be on that level also. So this is when they say, now you have to be, you're the one first. If we look at it
Mm.
literally, it's like saying, you want to meet a millionaire, go be a millionaire first. You want to meet someone who's really intelligent, well read, girl, you got to do the work also. Because when you meet, like science have shown, we tend to fall in love. We tend to meet someone who are in the similar phase than us, even in social economic status, right? And even in mindset. So that's basically, I'm just telling and explaining, like, if you that's why people are saying be the one, because you need to be that kind of person that you want to meet, so that you reach their level and they get to see you.
Thank you so much. That was well explained and well detailed, and I learned a lot. There's so many things na kailangan pigain from the things that you said. But since you mentioned it, and I think we want to have more clarification around that, because, for example, but before that, I just want to reiterate the point of having options, right? Because now you're becoming more rational with the decisions that you're making. Because, okay, you might like this person, okay, you might be attracted to this person, but that's more of an emotional kind of response. But then the way to rational it is to like open your options and like decide, okay, I still like him even though I have options, because you won't know if it's something that you thought about if you don't have other options. And I just love that thing. And you also mentioned that the finding the one, you have to be the one, right? So when you are already dating someone, how do you do that? So how can you make them, or how can you make them the one, and at the same time be the one for that person? Any practical tips that you can share with us?
Okay. So first, I'd like to commend you, Alec. Like, your memory is so good. Like, I said a lot because I feel so passionate about this topic. But oh my God, you remember the main
No, it's
points.
really interesting. I'm passionate about this as well, so I really love it. Thank you. Yeah.
So great memory. So going to your question, like, you're asking me, how do we actually find the
Yeah.
one by being the one, right? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I was telling a while ago that, you have to resonate, you have to be at that level if you want to meet certain level of people, because when you look at certain studies, they've shown that while opposite attract is so exciting,
Mm-hmm.
they say opposite attracts and attacks. Basically, like,
Oh.
opposite attract is so good for short-term relationship, but
Mm-hmm.
scientists have found that those people who actually end up, being together for such a long time, these are the people who have shared similar aspects like together. Like, for example, when it comes to values, beliefs, how
Yeah.
they look at alcohol, how they look at money, how they look at, lifestyle, raising children. So basically, by the end of the day, if you are someone who's dating a person right now and you feel like, like we are so opposite, and it's okay because I learned a lot from him and I learned a lot from her. But when you look at science, maybe it's just, helpful to remember that by the end of the day, you want to be married to someone who share the same values so that you could minimize the conflicts, you could
Mm.
minimize the likelihood of breaking your family apart when you guys are together. And by the end of the day, even if we are only dating, like there's a lot of reasons why people go on divorce and separations, right? And on top of it is money. A lot of the things also that we hear is because of vices. So if your partner keeps on drinking, keeps on going out, but you're this homebody who just wants to make your house beautiful and stuff,
Mm.
I mean, there's tension that is so difficult to maintain in the long run. So when you're finding someone to love, I highly recommend finding someone who has the similar views when it comes to vices, gambling, even cursing.
Oh yeah.
So even like how you spend. Maybe your partner has this YOLO, okay lang, as long as we have money, let's spend. And then the girl be like, you know what? I'm saving because we need money for our children. I don't want to have children without having the education plan and a house that we own. So these things, it's gonna create a lot of conflict that we can avoid. So find someone who is similar when it comes to not hobbies, but like the more important things in life, such as values and beliefs.
Ooh. Yeah, I was just about to ask, what's like the ratio? Because I still think that people have their own unique stuff that will create that kind of resistance. Na they're still kind of opposite, no matter what happens. Kahit makahanap ka ng parang tao na very similar, very like same likeness with you, meron pa ring parang opposite, right? Or ironic sa inyong dalawa, or parang opposite sa inyong dalawa. What's like your ratio for that? Or you mentioned that kailangan when it comes to the good things, like the values, like what are how do you look at that?
So instead of giving ratio, we look at it as parang life aspects. For example, pagdating sa hobbies, okay lang na magkaiba kayo. Pagdating sa siguro favorite food and favorite
Mhm.
places to go, okay lang yan. Walang problema yan. But the aspects that some scientists have suggested na you have to look at when you're dating someone, something that you have to talk about when you're on your third or fourth date. These are like the major aspects, such as yung money, yung health, yung I don't think political belief will be a very,
Yeah.
that even if, the tension right now is like, it's okay. But look at the money, the health, the vices. I feel that's very, very important. And above all, like how they look at love. I feel like, all of us have different love languages, right?
Yeah.
Love languages mean that if you like, this is a way for you to make the other feel loved, because you could give them like a lot of gift, but if their love language is spending time, then it's not effective. They're not going to feel the love. But also, when it comes to love, like you have to look at like how do they define love, like as a person. Love ba yung as long as you guys are together, you guys are in a house, you guys are married, you guys are not affectionate, love na ba yun? So these major factors you have to know. You don't have to directly ask them na, oh, ano, how do you define love? How
Yeah.
do you show the person, di ba? But really, when you spend time with them, when you go on a date, when they talk about other people, you will be able to gauge how is this person defining, or what is the mindset of this person when it comes to love, money, wealth, and vices. And so by the end of the day, like first date, fun, second date, third date, that's your way to solidify kung yung first impression mo ba is tama. But like fourth date and onwards, like ask the important questions. But again, I don't mean that you ask directly, but let them talk. Just let them. I know that you're a great person, and it's so exciting for us to share a lot about ourselves. But this is the reason why smart people are actually telling you, you know what, when you go on a date, pasalitain mo lang sila. Because again, when the person also talk, just like what I'm doing right now, Alec, I'm feeling good. The dopamine in my body is coming out. Like I feel so good about myself. Like I would want to see Alec again because I feel so good right now. So that's also a dating hack. If you want to learn more, assess the beliefs and mindset of the person that you're dating, make them feel good, ask them to talk and ask them to talk a lot.
I love that. I think that alone it can change your dating life in such a very very good way. Thank you so much. I honestly learned a lot of things, but before I actually let you go, I'd like to like give the people out here what a couple of practical advice that they can use. So try to like summarize everything that we talked about. For someone who here's my question. What is your what's one advice that you would give to first is someone who wants to start dating and and pangalawa is someone who's already dating. What's your top advice for them?
The way for you to enjoy dating is to actually do your homework before you start dating. And when I say doing your homework, it's doing the inner work. And when I say inner work, just think about, self improvement, because by the end of the day we could fake confidence on a date. I mean, that's easy. An hour, 3 hours date with you, I mean, we could fake that. But by the end of the day, like someone who is really really confident, you wouldn't have to put so much work on portraying that because you were confident. And how do you become confident? That's actually putting in the work to yourself, like invest in yourself. If you feel like, you know what, this is my weakness, say siguro like forma is my weakness, or my language is my weakness, how I express my emotion is my weakness, or empathy, I'm low in empathy, that's my weakness. Work on it before you go on a date, because when you go on a date, when you feel like, I've invested so much in myself, you don't cut yourself short. You don't settle with dates that are not good enough. You just want the best also for yourself, because you know that you put in the work beforehand. And also practical advice, before you go on a date, don't wear something that's new. Wear something that you really feel good in already. Like
Oh
the one
wow.
that you've really, like, when you look at yourself like, shucks, ang gwapo ko dito.
Uh,
Keep that clothes and wear it on a date, because on the first date you want to be, you want to feel good, because people who actually feel good about themselves, they tend to make other people feel good. But if you feel trashy, oh my god, when you go on a date, you see all the flaws. You criticize
mm,
your dates more. So again, like, set up the vibe in yourself before you start dating, so when you go on a date, you don't have to worry. Your brain is at peace, because hey, I prepared for this date even before I've met you.
that's really helpful. Everything that we're doing it's basically just 90% preparation and 10% execution, and I think that tip is really really helpful for everyone who wants to start dating or try dating, because I know there's a lot of people that really wants to but is kind of scared, or they don't really understand if they can or they could. But hearing your advice, well, it's really up to you. If you set up the vibe, then you'll have amazing experiences. If you create a trashy kind of vibe, then the experience of you dating will also be trashy. So like, do the homework, do the inner work, and the rest will follow. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah. So they, as they say, trash in, trash out.
Yeah.
You feel good, then you tend to look at people also in a more positive light. So in your, like, with your second question, you said like tips for people who are already dating.
Yeah.
So for those people who are already dating, I know that dating is such a complicated thing. Like you start so excited and then you meet this douche or you meet like people who are not, up to your expectations, and you just feel hurt and you feel disappointed and sometimes ghosted. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like this message is for you. I have this favorite social scientist, and she said that based on studies, the people who actually find love are those people who did not give up on love. And these are the people who have a strong belief that, hey, I'm going to find someone. I'm going to find love and I'm going to find my person. If you have that kind of mindset, you are unlikely to be discouraged by one bad date. And so if you want to find the one, no matter what happens in the dating scene, keep that in your heart and in your mind that you're going to find someone.
That's beautiful, Coach V. Thank you so much for sharing that. It really boils down to your belief system, to your mindset. If you think, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right, right? So that quote also applies to love and relationships and dating specifically. Coach V, this has been amazing. Thank you so much again for being here. But before we end this, please, also, I have one last question. Like, what's the success rate for matchmaking? Because I'm really interested in that. And as you finish answering, go ahead and promote Singles Events Manila as well.
Okay. So I get that a lot in the Philippines. Like when they learn that, oh, you're a matchmaker, what's the success rate? So here am I telling you that, when you are single and you work with a matchmaker, besides actually helping you find someone, remember the belief system that we were talking about, all
Mm-hmm.
that mindset that we spoke about? We're actually putting in our clients in a science-based date coaching. That means that, like you can go and find someone on your own, but I'm telling you, it might not be 100% that you're going to find your husband or wife, but you are likely, the likelihood of you finding someone great is way higher when you know these things. And when you actually learn how to hack your brain, how to hack your body, your mindset, even the way that you move, so that you get like greater rewards when it comes to dating and not cut yourself short. So when we talk about the success rate, we believe that when it comes to matchmaking, success could be defined as, of course, we are able to find you someone that you're interested with. And most of the time, we don't stop until you find someone that, I want to go on a second date with this person.
Mm, yeah.
So, and second is success could also be defined, could also be seen by a person whom we've served like first time when we met them, and they're so nervous and stressed and tired about dating. But after we work together, they're gonna be like, you know what, Coach V, I'm ready to date. I'm ready to date. I feel so equipped. I understand the skills. I understand the mindset now. So whatever happens on my date, like walang my motivation to date and find someone is so strong. No one could actually take that away from me. So that also is a success story for us and for Singles Events Manila. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, I'm Date Coach V. I'm working for Singles Events Manila. Singles Events Manila is not only a place where you could study the science of dating, but we get together single professionals. So you don't have to go to 100 parties, 300 burros, 300 like singles, because you just sometimes it's not about you not being a good dater. Sometimes you just lack network. And so we're
Mm.
just bringing together single professionals so that they could assess whether they're going to be a good match, or you could just end up like having business partners and barkada for
Yep.
life, which really happened in our 7 years of working with singles. So we're on Facebook and on Instagram. Just key in Singles Events Manila, and my personal Instagram account is Date Coach V on Instagram as well. So thank you, Alice.
Yes, and of course, Coach B, you will also be speaking sa ating event that is coming very, very soon. So go ahead and invite them as well.
Yes. So if you are free on May 21, that's gonna be in PICC. Alec and I, along with very, very good relationship co- um, content creators, including Real Talk Darbs. We have Mike Balolong, we have Joshua TV, we have Pearl Hong joining us. Just, spend time with us, because even if the title of the session is Heart Healing Session, we're not only going to heal your heart,
Yeah.
I'm going to be there teaching you tips, science based, on how you could find the one. So I'm so excited to have you. Thank you so much for listening in Small Talk. And I hope that we'll see you on May 21, PICC. Just go to rtdhealingsessions.com to book your ticket.
Yes, definitely. I'm gonna link it down in the description box below so you guys can check it out. But again, Coach V, thank you so much for being here. I enjoyed every second of this conversation. I learned a lot, and I can't wait to just share this. And hopefully, a lot of people can learn from this as well. Dating, relationships, and love shouldn't be something that we just go blindly into. It can be learned. And if you want to learn more, then go ahead and check out the other content that Coach V is making. Again, Coach V, maraming salamat. But yeah, to everyone who's listened, who's still here, if you like this episode, go ahead and share this on your Instagram. Do not forget to tag me at Alec Cuenca. And also, please come join us at our first ever live event on May 21 in PICC Manila. So I hope I could meet you guys there, meet you guys personally, talk to you guys personally, and of course, share with you the insights that we learned from the time that we were, experiencing our struggles and how we overcome it, and all the insights that we want to share with you. Hopefully, we can share with you in person. So thank you so much for listening. Again, this is Small Talk. Small conversations with huge impact, and I'll talk to you guys next episode. Bye-bye.